Okay, after a successful trip, I've just arrived in Laos and checked into the hotel in Vientiane. It's a really nice hotel. It reminds me of the old sort of colonial period, as you would expect maybe in Singapore or, 100 years ago. A lot of wood, a lot of carvings. It's pretty nice. They welcome me here with a drink and a hot towel, and I'll show you the lobby later on. But this is the room. I'm here for 2 nights. I'm going to put my passport into the Thai consulate tomorrow. And I met a guy from Finland who's been in Thailand for 8 years. On the plane, we shared a taxi ride between Udon Thani and the border. I've had to pay 1,300 for a visa to get into Laos, so I was expecting 1,900, so that wasn't too bad. He had to pay 1,500, and then we got a bus across the bridge which separates Laos from Thailand, and what else? Oh yeah, we had to fill in the paperwork, and then we got a taxi from the border into the capital, and that was 150 baht each. That was split 4 ways, 150 each. So it wasn't too bad actually. Now this room, this hotel is 1,500 baht a night. I think I paid, or just a little bit less. So I'm on the 4th floor. This is a self-rated 4-star hotel. I haven't seen the facilities here. It looks nice. I'd probably give it 4-star so far from what I've seen, but I'll check it out in a minute. Over here we have one of the pools, a rooftop pool, is up there, but there's a balcony pool. I'm going to check that out. You can swim 24 hours a day. There's also a gym where I can swim 24 hours a day. I need to get some water. I'm not going to chance the tap water here if it's anything like Thailand's. And then I might either go for a run or go for a swim. The buffet breakfast is included, starts at 6:30. I'm going to try and get to the consulate by about 7:30, so if I'm up in time, get some brekkie, and then head on over to the consulate, meet the guy, Yana, that I was speaking about before over there, and put in the passport, pay the 1,900 baht, and then head out on a walking tour. Here in the capital, they have a replica of the Arc de Triomphe in Paris, which I have been to and have climbed, so it'll be good to be able to compare the two. You can also climb this one. Apparently not many people do that. I don't know why. It seems like a fantastic opportunity. And then I saw a walking tour advertised in the Wall Street Journal that I'm going to take, and that should take up the rest of the day. And I picked the passport back up on Tuesday about 1:30, sometime after that, and then head back to Udon Thani. So I've got a day here, day and a bit, get some runs in. I always like running in a new country. If I can get a couple of runs in new states that I go to, that'd be great. But I'm only going to be in Vientiane. Laos is bordered by Vietnam to the east, and China to the north, Thailand to the west, and Cambodia to the south. So that's pretty much where it's situated. It's a very poor country. Socialist country. These people are among the hungriest and poorest people in the world. But it'd be good to have a look. I was expecting people to be speaking French. From what I understood, people spoke French here, and I speak French, so it would have been a good opportunity to do so. But they don't, from what I can see. So far the people have asked said that they don't. Laos used to be part of French Indochina, but that was a long time ago now. I believe something like 40% of the populace speaks French. It's so far not my experience, but then I've only been here for the night. Okay, so some of the pros of this hotel. The bed seems to be new. It's very comfy. It's got a great atrium, like you can see here. The shower was super hot. The pressure was fantastic. Daily cleaning was prompt, tidy. It has 2 pools in this hotel, which is great on a hot day. It was great after I went on the walking tour. The pools are clean, there's fully equipped air-conditioned gym available all day, every day, and some other wonderful things. But it's a three-star hotel posing as 4. Okay, it's morning in Vientiane, and it's about 6 o'clock, or 6:30. I've just had a shower. I'm going to get up. I've got up. I'm going to go have some breakfast at the buffet, and then head straight to the embassy to pop in the passport, and then I've got the day free to myself. I'm going to do a walking tour that I saw in the Wall Street Journal, and you'll see some of that as well. So here's the view from the hotel. It doesn't look like a capital, but then this city only has 760,000 people, so I wouldn't expect skyscrapers. It's definitely not Bangkok, but yeah, it's pretty nice. We'll see you later. So now I'm right in the middle of Vientiane. This is the Putazai monument, which was built in the 60s based on the French Arc de Triomphe. Now I've been to the Arc de Triomphe, and this is not as big. It's big, it's just not as big. And they've been allowed a license to do really what they want with this building, and as a result it looks rather Asian. This actually probably looks more Indian. So I'm going to go up and climb this, and we'll see you at the top. This Putazai monument, it means Victory Gate or Gate of Triumph. It was formerly called the Itinerary Monument, and it's known by the French as a Monument aux Morts. It's a war monument in the centre of Vientiane, and it was built between 1957 and 1968. It's dedicated to those who fought in the struggle for independence from France. In romanizing the name from the Laotian language, it is variously translated as Putazai, 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 and Putazai. It's also called the Arch or the Arc de Triomphe of Vientiane. As you can see, it has a lot of resemblance. This monument was built using American funds and cement, which was actually intended to build a new airport. The Royal Laotian government instead built the monument, which earned it the nickname the Vertical Runway. From the top of the monument, there are wonderful views to be had. They hit all across Vientiane. Most historians believe that Vientiane was an early Khmer settlement centered around the Hindu temple, which the Pathat Luang would later replace. In the 11th and 12th centuries, the time when the Lao and Thai people are believed to have entered Southeast Asia from southern China, the few remaining Khmers in the area were either killed, removed, or assimilated into the Lao civilization, which would soon overtake the area. In 1354, when Phan Nguyen founded the Kingdom of Lanzang, Vientiane became an important administrative centre, even though it was not made the capital. The king officially established it as a capital of Lanzang in 1563 to avoid Burmese invasion. When Lanzang fell apart in 1707, it became an independent kingdom of Vientiane. In 1779, it was conquered by the Siamese general Phaya Chakri and made a vassal of Siam. When King Anuvong raised an unsuccessful rebellion, it was obliterated by Siamese armies in 1827. The city was burned to the ground and was looted of nearly all Laotian artifacts, including Buddha statues and people. Vientiane was in great disrepair, depopulated, and disappearing into the forest when the French arrived. It eventually passed to French rule in 1893. It became the capital of the French Protectorate of Laos in 1899. The French rebuilt the city and rebuilt or repaired Buddhist temples such as Pathat Luang, Ho Prakau, and left many colonial buildings behind. During World War II, Vientiane fell with little resistance and was occupied by Japanese forces under the command of Saku Manousorai. On the 9th of March 1945, French paratroopers arrived and reoccupied the city on the 24th of April. This is a stupa or chedi, which is believed to hold some Buddhist relics. Prior to the Siamese occupation of the city in the late 1800s, it was believed to have been covered with gold. The name of this stupa is That Dam Stupa. It's sitting in a suburban area, quite striking for the area in which it is, and it's next to a few bars. All that's left now is the brickwork and a few homeless people sleeping around the bottom. This is the presidential palace in Vientiane. This is also where the king used to live prior to the revolution, and before that it was the French consulate when the French had sovereignty over Indochina. Now, you can't go in here, it's not open to the public. This is about as close as we can get, and it's right at the end of the main street of the city. And if you look back up the end of this street, you'll see the Putazai monument where we just came from. And next stop is this temple over here, which is the oldest temple in Laos, and it was built in 1820. Wat Saket was built in 1818 on the order of King Anovang. Si is derived from the Sanskrit title of Veneration Sri, prefixed to the name of Wat Saket in Krungthep, which was renamed by Anovang's contemporary King Rama I. Wat Saket was built in the Siamese style of Buddhist architecture, with the surrounding terrace and an ornate 5-tiered roof, rather than in the Laos style. This may have kept it safe, since the armies of Siam that sacked Vientiane following Anovang's rebellion in 1827 used the compound as their headquarters and lodging place. It may be the oldest temple still standing in Laos. The French colonial government restored Wat Saket in 1924 and again in 1930. Wat Saket features a cloister wall with more than 2,000 ceramic and silver Buddha images. The temple also houses a museum. I found it to be extremely quiet, but the architecture to be very intriguing, very different to what I'd seen in a number of other temples. This is the Mekong River. The height of the river is right down because we're in the middle of winter, and so all that's left is all these weeds. People try to grow things here in winter, and then the floods come as the seasons change and take over the remaining area here, which will flood with the Mekong River. This horrific edifice was a gift from the Chinese people to the people of Laos to celebrate an occasion. I can't remember what. I think the architecture is appalling. It's an example of what can be done with government cooperation without input from any artistic ability at all. We're now crossing the Thai-Lao Friendship Bridge, the land border between Laos and Thailand. It was opened in April the 8th, 1994, and it was the first bridge across the lower Mekong and the second on the full course of the Mekong. The cost was about 19 million British pounds, which was funded by the Australian government as development aid for Laos. During my time here, I saw a lot of evidence of Australian business and government institutions. The bridge was designed and built by Australian companies as a demonstration of their ability to complete major infrastructural projects in Southeast Asia. The concept design of a balanced cantilever bridge was proposed by Bruce Ramsey of VSL, with the final design carried out by Manusel Consulting Engineers. The official name of the bridge was changed by the addition of the first because there's now a second Thai-Lao Friendship Bridge further south. Traffic on the bridge drives on the left, as in Thailand, while traffic in Laos drives on the right. The changeover at the Laos end just before the border post is controlled by traffic lights. This shuttle bus that I'm on now operates across the bridge, but bicycles and tricycles can also travel, as can pedestrians. And if you look closely, you'll see a meter gauge rail track from Nong Khai in Thailand that'll run across the centre of the bridge. Road traffic is stopped when a train is crossing. So I enjoyed my time in Vientiane. I found things to be a little bit more expensive, even though I know that these people here don't earn as much as Thais. From visiting a communist country, I can see that the people are repressed, the people aren't as friendly as the people in Thailand or in other countries. And I can only hope that in the following years, communism is destroyed and these people can prosper a little bit more. They're very poor and they're in much need of the gospel.